Hello and welcome to Scars. Today we will be servicing by Pride and Joy Toyota Avensis 2013 2-litre diesel. So join me. So, as usual, I gave the car a bit of a spin to warm the engine up. As you can tell there, the car has done roughly, well, I tried to service my car around the 6,000 miles, but obviously I'm a bit overdue, so we shall get cracking then. Switch the engine off. We'll bring the car up and get underneath, drain the old oil, and we'll see what follows. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you how I safely position the car on the axle stands. So there's that bit of frame there, as you can see, and that's, to me, that's the best place to position the axle stands. With the car nicely in the air, we can now move on to remove the old oil and filters and blah de blah de blah. So I clearly haven't been here for a good while. It's all nice and dusty, but yeah, let's get underneath and remove the engine and the tray then. I always like to check on the under tray for any traces of oil, as in oil leaks, but again, it seems nice and clean, so that's good. Next, I'll just loosen the engine oil lid. That's very tight. No white stuff. Nothing. No intruders there. And the oil dip, and we can move on to draining the old oil. Again, checking for oil leaks. As we'll remove the lid here. Seems pretty nice and clear. I will give it a bit of a spray and a bit of a clean as well once we're done. Okay, let's move over to draining the old oil. Okay, so by using a 14 mil socket, we move over to trying to loosen the sump bolt that's already loose, as it doesn't need to be too tight. Bring the oil tray over here and I'll just undo it by hand. Feels nice and warm, which is a good sign. It's a long bolt. There we are. I always like to check the end of the sump plug, as far as I know is magnetic, to see if there's any metal shavings, a sign that the engine's gone. But this one looks nice and clear, so we'll just put this one safely and wait for the most of the engine oil drain, and then we can drain the fuel filter oil too. So I went the extra mile this time and purchased myself this tiny little gadget, which is a specific oil filter removal tool for Toyota. Just give it a bit of... Is this how it goes? Looks about right, so we'll give it a try in a minute. That's still gently draining. Let's move over to draining the oil filter housing. But right before draining the oil filter housing oil, I've just realized I haven't shown you what we've got in this lovely box. Again, by using our lovely reasonable auto dock. Now they're alright, but I have had a few filters that didn't fit recently, even by ordering parts based on the VIN number. But overall they're way cheaper than Eurocar parts or other providers. So what we're going to do today, we'll change the cabin filter, the oil filter and the air filter. The reason why I'm only changing these three and not the fuel filter is because on the previous servicing I've changed the fuel filter, so I don't change it every time, I change it every other service. So yeah, just these three today. So yeah, in order to drain the oil filter housing, we've got this tiny little gadget there that I'll show you in a minute what to do with. What we got to do first, I might need an extension. In order to fit that tiny little gadget, we have to undo this washer here. That's located right beneath the oil filter, and it looks like there's some oil draining as well. We'll try and share the tray between the two see if we can. Oh, that was it. Easy as that. So there's this sump plug for the oil filter, and now this little thing bolts right where that washer came from, which should drain the oil filter housing oil. Okay. There should have been some out by now. Ah, okay. There we are. Gosh, that had to be in quite tight. This wind definitely doesn't help, as it blows the oil everywhere. Yeah, that's alright. I think that's enough. Now we can remove this little thing and move over to removing the actual housing. That's good. That removed the seal as well. We'll drop that into the oil. Okay, let's fit this little tool there and see whether that's doing anything for us. I might need the extension again. Oh, hold on. Let me remove this too. I don't want to fill it up with oil. Yeah, my tiny little toy should have worked a lot better than it did. There's still loads of oil in here. There we are. Nicely done. Didn't think that through very well, did I? I've got my got the oil filter and the housing underneath the car. It'll drip everywhere when I remove them. Oh dear. Never mind. We'll clean it up afterwards. Okay, so what I want to do next is give all these little bits and pieces a bit of a brake cleaner and to wash them off nicely. I think that will do me. Let it dry there. Some plug-in washer. Yeah, that will do. And the oil filter housing. Some plug. Wow, brilliant. As well, this is the oil I'm going to be using. I so far I've used the Shell 0W30, but watching car videos all day long, people do say that although the manufacturers do recommend the 0W30, not particularly for this car, but it can damage an engine on the long run. So I've ordered this oil based on this little thing, AC C2 C3, which is compatible to what Toyota recommends as well, and this is compatible with catalytic converter CAT, diesel particle filter DPF, and SCR, selector catalytic reduction system. So it's fine to use on my car. Next we'll fit our oil filter with the new rubber washers. Keep dropping them on the floor. I must be nervous. So what I want to do is a bit of engine oil. So this one goes, this tiny one goes here, and now we can fit this sun plug back on. We'll tighten this up a bit once the oil filter's up, nice and clean on the inside, and a bit of engine oil for this big one too. And that's on. And all that's left is to fit the new oil filter. I don't think this one have a certain pattern, as they seem pretty similar on both ends, so I'll just leave the right one at the top, I suppose. Yeah, it doesn't click in or anything. Let me try it both ways. Yeah, exactly the same. I'll try and pour a bit of engine oil in the housing. I haven't done it before, I have to admit, but by looking at other YouTube videos, I've come to understand that it does help when you first start the engine. So I hope I'm not going to be too messy. Okay, I think that will do, as I don't want to mess it all up. Okay, put this aside, and now let's try and fit this back onto the car. Okay. Okay, so what Toyota recommends is tightening this oil filter as tight as 40 Newton meters. So let's do that then. Oh, okay, done. So we can also tighten this washer a bit too. Not too. That will do. Okay, and there's a tiny little bit of engine oil draining now. We'll give that another minute and we'll move over to fitting the sun plug back on. Okay, and the tightening torque for the sun plug is 38 Newton meters. Feels really tight. Perfect. Nice and clean. So now as far as recommending you the oil capacity, I will not do that, as the first time I serviced this car I followed the owner's manual and I filled it up to 6.3 liters, as that's what Toyota recommends. But I have realized that it's roughly 5 liters that fills this engine up, so I'll be able to show you in a minute what I'm talking about. So we're just going to pour quite confidently the whole bottle in. Okay, I think that will do. Okay, so while the oil settles, we'll move over to giving this car a bit of a clean. Now moving over to the air filter, we've got these little clamps. There should be 3 of them. Oh, could be wrong. First we'll remove this sensor that goes to the air filter, and we have to undo that little thing. Okay. All we gotta do is lift the lid off. And that's it. There's the air filter housing off. There's the old air filter. That, to be fair, I mean, let's be honest, compared to what I've seen on the Nissan and the Cougar, this doesn't look bad at all, does it? Bosh, same as my new one. So let's give this housing a bit of a clean too. I think I'll just remove the lot. In with the new. The lid is nice and clean, there's no need to do anything about it. So what this does is, with these 2 little things at the back, so it's got 2 clips at the front, and then 2 little clips at the back that you just slot in. So first, okay. That's about it, really. Again, given the fact that this is a Toyota and it's remarkably easy to work on, all we gotta do is, to get to the cabin filter, all we gotta do is push this inwards, and that side too, and that will lower the actual lid. What we got to be cautious of is, hold on, we don't damage this tiny little piston, so we'll remove that too. So that's the piston that releases the glove compartment easily. So that's the cabin filter housing. That's the old pollen filter. Let me get the new one. Okay, so airflow at the bottom. So what I want to do, doesn't look too bad. I've seen worse. Bit of dust. What I want to do next is something I've seen at someone else doing, is put the ignition on and see if our car will blow any dust particles out of the pollen filter housing. Okay, and that's it really. Ignition back off. There was no dust or anything like it. So all we got to do is just to fit the new pollen filter in. So airflow at the bottom. And that's it. That's the pollen filter in. So all we got to do is fit the glove compartment back on. So that's on. Fitting the tiny piston here on the end, and that's done. And this should lower softly, which it did. Okay, so I'd say the car is now done. All I want to do is fit the under tray back on, lower the car down and start the engine, see what it sounds like. Okay, so ignition on, first start. So check parking brake system. Let's drive it around for a bit. Might come back to its senses. Got the check parking brake system. Check BSC system. Right, so first drive. Loads of errors in the dash for some reason. So this is the following morning. We're just going to check whether the car magically fixed itself, being it's a Toyota. I've just checked the oil level. It's right in the middle. So it's on the other side. Fingers crossed. No, it hasn't. Okay, so had to take the car to my local garage to have the errors scanned, and all sorted now. I really don't know what triggered those errors up, but hey ho, we'll wait and see. So I think that was it for this video. Until next one, you look after yourselves and take care. So just as a quick reference, here we are 4 days later, as I forgot to video the actual oil level when I changed the oil. This is the oil level with the 5 liters in the engine. So I don't know where's the extra 1.3 litres supposed to go, because 5 litres right in the middle there. So yeah, there you are then. That's all done. And now, last but not the least, there we are. So 8, 7, 9, 8. Today's 29 for 2024. Partial. As we didn't include the fuel filter. All done.